Just again, after further reflection now, just looking back on the year, you just you feel super appreciative for the journey we had and the season we had, and you look at the blue blood traditional NCAA tournament teams that did not put together a season that enabled them to get into March Madness and play in the tournament. I really liked the way the guys responded throughout the year with their backs against the wall and the adversity we had, and we had some special moments together as a team. So that's always what you hope for as a coach, that a group of people, you could bring them together and they really play for each other and play the right way. So it was a real honor to coach this group and this team, and just I know how the NCAA works in terms of these games. They're razor thin margins sometimes between winning and losing, continuing to advance, so that's the goal, to keep taking steps, keep putting ourselves in position to have opportunities to go after a Pac-12 championship, to go after NCAA tournament appearances, and where that could take you. It's been special for me to be able to track my brother and spend time with him and watch what he's doing. It's been inspiring for me to see what he's done with that team and how far he's taken it, and it's been super so proud of him, and I've enjoyed just seeing that. And again, it makes me hungrier as a coach to want to take more steps here and try and do something special.
Bobby, why remain here at ASU, and then how much do you appreciate getting to finish kind of what you started?
Well, I mean, Ray Anderson hired me here and brought me in, and we've been attached at the hip, and Ray showed additional commitment to me, and he believes in what I've been able to do after two tough seasons in COVID, to be able to literally I said this after our game, 2 years ago was the first year of the portal, and it was like a turning point, and I was left with my right-hand man took a head coaching job at Northern Illinois, Rashawn Burno, and I lost another assistant coach, Anthony Coleman, that I was very close with, and both of those guys are doing great and they're super successful. The guys that stayed with me was Kamani Lawrence and Jalen Graham, and then it was a blank canvas, and in 2 years we're back in the NCAA tournament. So I'm super proud of the work we put in to get the program back to where it needs to be, and a big part of that is Ray Anderson and Dr. Crow's commitment to the program and how they feel about the steps we're taking and the direction of it. So I'm just very appreciative of their support, and just happy that I'm back here. And I've been usually in past seasons you go through a long year and there's a lot of tough games and it's just so much stress and pressure, and the finality of it hurts so bad that you just want to escape and go away and let your mind relax a little bit, but not anymore in this world. The transfer portal, we've been very aggressive and exploring multiple ways that we're going to surround the core of this coming team with players that will put us in a position to take further steps than we did this year.
So speaking of the portal, I mean, last year you came off a rough season and still had your best transfer portal addition ever. Do you feel that the launching pad is even greater now because of what you accomplished to do well in the portal?
I think the visibility of our program has increased, and due to what we did in Dayton, that was the one game that people were watching that night, and there are players that see our style of play, see how attractive that could be, how hard we play, how we defended, how 98 points in that game. I think people then watched our TCU game, and it was a war, and people recognized that the Big 12 was really good and had really good teams, and we went toe to toe and controlled that game most of the way. And so when you're involved in games like that, the profile of your program goes up a notch, and people, kids want to know that you're going to get better, I'm going to have a good role, but winning is in that equation too, and an opportunity to play on the biggest stage like the NCAA tournament. So we're hopeful that will translate to what we're doing with roster improvement.
Coach, what's it mean to you? Greg Moore's on Republic, good to see you. It's been entirely too long. don't know if you heard, there were some reports out there that thought that you maybe had peaked and that maybe the program should go a different direction. What does it mean to you to have won that game and put yourself in this position to continue to lead the program in the face of that?
I think it's not just winning one game or not. I think if you base it on that, then that's probably not a great way to make a decision. I think you look at the totality of it, of my tenure here, and we've won some high-profile games, non-conference games. We've been to multiple NCAA tournaments. We, potentially our best chance to advance. I'll never know. I'll always look back on the season where, COVID stopped the season, as we were the 3 seed in the Pac-12 and like an 8 or 9 seed in the NCAA tournament, and that team was playing very well at the end. And so we've had some roadblocks along the way, but I have confidence in my abilities. I know what I'm capable of doing. I've coached against the best coaches, in our league and across the country, and I feel like I'm in my prime, and I'm certainly all the experiences you go through, the wins and the losses, you learn from them and you get better, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to continue to grow, to continue to get better. I look at my brother as an example, and again, he has done such an amazing job with building the team and the program there, and he had trouble winning the first round game for a couple of years, and now he's in the Final Four, and so things like that I think are in play here. I think that we have a core of players we're bringing back that are invested in this and want to see it work, and then I'm gonna get to work, with my staff, and we're gonna improve the roster and give us a better chance to advance in the tournament next year.
And aside from improving the roster, Coach, is there anything that you can give us a glimpse into as to how you might take the program to the next level?
Just you got to have players. You got to have guys that you can win with. You got to have winners, guys that value that. I think I have several guys like that I'm building with, and then I'm evaluating, every way that we need to put ourselves in a position, right down the line from a roster standpoint, for us to be competitive every year. Every coach, even coaches right now that are taking over new programs, can immediately change that program. That's just how the transfer portal is built, and the ways that you could instantly change your roster and put yourself in a position to win. So I think every year there's going to be change. There's going to be guys that are going to, explore their options for a variety of reasons, and then there's going to be guys that are knocking down the door to want to come here. So, and we'll do the best we could do to retain everybody that we can, and if that's not the case, then we're going to bring in someone that's going to get the job done.
Did you get a chance to talk to your players at the end of the year? I know you usually have one-on-ones with them, their goals and who's coming back and maybe who's not, and gauge where your personnel is going to be.
Yeah,
so you know what you have to recruit?
Yeah, I did. I had individual meetings with the players on Monday after our loss in Denver on Friday. So literally 48 hours, I had everybody come through my office, so I had a kind of a good idea of where everyone was standing on that process. So that was important to kind of know, because we were already maybe a week late on the portal, because I'm locked in on winning NCAA tournament games, not the portal like in Dayton and Denver. But so I was not shocked at some of the the portal activity, and we're going about our business, doing what we have to do to reach out to players, and we're getting great responses, and then we're going to continue to see where the guys are that have decided to go in the portal, because sometimes the hardest thing is when you rip the Band-Aid and press the button. Sometimes you don't think you're going to see that guy again, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have conversations with these guys to see if, hey, is this the best fit for you? You've gone out in the portal, you've looked at some stuff, is it in your heart to stay, or you're going to look to go? And so we're actively still re-recruiting our own players as we're exploring other opportunities.
You mentioned were you confident that the extension was going to get worked out the last few months of the season, or were you unsure about where this was all headed?
We had some discussions during the year. It didn't produce anything, At the end, I wasn't sure, the last few weeks of the season, because there was a lot up in the air. Certainly the way we played, we played ourselves into the tournament by, winning at Arizona, winning against USC in the Pac-12 tournament. And then as those things were happening, and the reality of playing the NCAA tournament again, and it would have been my 4th NCAA tournament, because that's the one thing we can't do here is you either got to say I went to 3 of 7, or you got to say 4 of 8. You can't say 3 of 8 though, because I was going that year and we didn't go because they canceled the season. I had nothing to do with COVID. I didn't start that. So, that would be the one thing I would request. If you are reporting something about my record, just try and do it accurately, because it's either 3 of 7 or 4 of 8. It's not 3 of 8 though. Okay.
Bobby, how important was it to get this done right away so that for recruiting purposes, kids know who the coach is going to be, and just get it done now so everybody knows?
Yeah, I mean it is, because even for our own players, the stability of not knowing, and the speculation, and that makes them wonder, what their future looks like too. So, and in addition to that, it's everything you discussed about high school players. They want to know that, that I'm solid here, I'm established, and anybody coming in the door that is not going to play for a coach that's got 1 year left in their contract. So that's not really a reality.
There's myriad factors that go into being a great coach. Talk about being hungrier than ever, self-improvement. Like, how do you self-assess, and what are some of the things that you see where that you can still be better as a coach?
Yeah, I mean, I have to continue to evolve and in game situations, and I think we've done a good job of winning close games. I mean, Doug Tamaro would know better, but we have a lot of wins, 5 points or less. So I think we were able to do that pretty well. We've got to do a better job at home, and I'm thinking about how do we do that, because we were not good enough here this year, and we were very good on the road. We did more than our fair share. We got to figure out how to win here, and there are some things that aren't even on the basketball court that I've already thought about that I think could put us in a better position to be better here. It comes down to roster construction, and I watch my brother. He's got guys. He's got great interior players, and he's got great shooting, and he's got a deep team, and so he's got a lot of good. It's a puzzle you're putting together. So that's like, how do I do the best job possible, here to build a team that will put us in a position.
Bobby, before your extension came through, Cooley goes to Georgetown. People start talking about, Bobby Hurley at Providence, that might be a good fit. Like, do you see that stuff, and what makes you want to stay in Arizona?
I built a life here. I have a family here. My daughter graduated here. She got a master's here. My son is on the team and loves it here. My wife and I love living here. I still believe that this place could be exceptional. I think COVID stunted our growth, and we took a couple of steps back, and now we've taken a step forward, and I intend on keep taking steps forward here, because I believe in this place, and I believe that it can be done here. And so when you believe in it, then you're going to go after it 1,000%, and that's what I'm going to do. And I know I have commitment. I know I have administration that supports me and wants me to be here and believes in me. So I'm going to do my best to get the job done.
Bobby, how much is that commitment? Is there like a commitment to upgrading maybe the facility here? Dr. Crow called it functional a few weeks ago. Do you feel like this building needs a renovation to keep up with the times a little bit?
I would say that Dr. Crow was on target with his comments in terms of when that building is filled, and when we're playing UCLA and our players are on the court, they're not thinking about anything else except look at all these people in the stands and look at this environment. And I think we've created, outside of Arizona, the best Pac-12 environment in terms of support, crowd support. And again, the school's been through a lot with COVID and the limitations of the finances, and I'm not involved in that directly, but it impacts our university. So when that would be addressed, I mean, I would be certainly in favor of it. I think but when that timeline is in play, then it's in play. But it's not going to stop me from doing what I need to do.
And Bobby, with the one-on-ones with Austin, I know didn't get to play, but how's he feeling?
Austin Nunez.
Yeah.
There have been conversations with him quite a bit. He's back home still at this point. He's with his family. And they're going through the same process that all these kids have, in terms of the potential of seeing what their options are and really taking a look at their situation, reviewing the year. So we're just going to keep having dialogue and see where that goes. But he was fantastic for us this year. I told everybody I want all you guys back because I think you guys have elevated Arizona State basketball. But you've also elevated Arizona State basketball, so thank you. If this isn't the place, then I will try to keep you here and convince you to stay here, but if it's not in your heart to be here and somewhere else is better, then I'm just going to thank you for helping us reestablish our program. And so that's how I feel about the guys in the locker room, and we'll continue to have discussions with all those guys about what their future looks like.
Coach,
How important is
NIL has obviously become a big part of the college athletic scene. To what extent do you think that's playing a role in people's decision to enter the portal or to stick around or what?
I think there's a variety of factors that go in, and every person's situations and reasons are different, and their motivations are different. So, I mean, I would say that it is an impact. So, there's guys all over the country that are in the portal, and they're trying to find out what they could do with NIL and stuff. So that NIL plays a big role. Believe me, we've lost guys to NIL. Other places that have had a serious, commitment to that, things that we couldn't compete with. But that doesn't mean that we're, not trying. And Arizona State is trying. The Sun Devil Collective, Sun Angel Collective, and stuff. So there's, we can't pretend that that's not important, but I don't think that's the sole reason why anybody would, specifically do it, go in the portal.
How important was it to get a guy like Devin Cambridge back, him putting out that he is coming back? How that might maybe convince other guys to come back?
Well, he's a winning player, and that's the bottom line. Like he is, he had a great experience here. His statistics went up considerably from the year prior at Auburn. So he developed in the program, and he believes in the program and thinks that, and shares my vision to take further steps. Like and I know that he's all in, and there are others, and it will sort itself out. But we're going to bring back a core of guys that were, that understand the path to get to the NCAA tournament this year, and then we'll build around them and bring in, the talent that we need to take another step.
You saw Frankie tweet that he's playing recruiter. Is that something that you asked of him to do, or is that something he just takes upon himself?
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they play, AAU together. They're all over the country. They build relationships with kids, and if there are guys in the portal, then I mean, they want love. I mean, they want, the guys calling saying, hey, man, it's, you should come out to Arizona State. Love Hurley. I love the way we play. There's. Look what we did in the NCAA tournament. So I mean, there's a lot of things that, and Frankie wants to, just like Devin and the guys that are going to be returning to get back to doing what we're doing. They got a taste of it. We were right there with TCU. They know how close we were to advancing and doing more damage, and they want to get that done. And so if they could help in a minor way, then I'm all for it.
What have you learned about finding the guys that not just have the skill or athleticism, but also the mindset that you're looking for?
I think it's important. I mean, again, it's the going through the process as a coach and having some guys that may not have been all about that, and having had coached some of those guys, you kind of learn what to look for and learn what to avoid. And so if you don't learn lessons as you're going, then you're not paying attention. So I think that I've been focused on character. I think that's a part of the reason we could go on the road and win all the games we did, and neutrals, because these guys, played together, enjoyed playing together. I mean, it wasn't always perfect, but they liked each other. So, that's a part of the deal, to put together a group of people that could coexist and all those things. So yeah, it's more than just physical talent. It's identifying those traits that are important to winning.
Bobby, you mentioned this weekend making you even a little bit hungry watching your brother go to the Final Four. What were all the emotions for you being a part of that, being in the stands?
I felt like I was living it with him, and again, it's like every play, every possession. Now he made it easy on me because he beat up on both teams, so I didn't really have to sweat it out much for those 2 games. But it was just like kind of sitting back and us growing up together and our whole journey together. Our lives have been in basketball the whole way, and I remember watching him coach at St. Benedict's Prep in high school when I wasn't even coaching yet, and seeing what he did with that program and make it a national program, and working with him for 3 years. I just know how talented he is, how good a coach he is. So to see him reach this point and experience it, because I've done it as a player, so I've experienced going to Final Four and what that feels like. I mean, I asked him yesterday, are you still floating? Did you get back to earth yet? And just because I understand how it feels, and he's already moved on, and he's going to watch 1 million Miami games between yesterday and today, and getting ready for the next steps. But yeah, I mean, it's just it makes me feel so good that he was able to do what he's done this year.
Do you spend a lot of time talking with him and or your dad about, scheme, ideas, strategy, stuff like that?
I mean, my dad and I talk frequently, about the team. He watches very close. I send him practices. He watches the team, and then he'll give me his some guidance on what he sees and stuff. And he watches every game, so we talk. And my brother and I are way more. We've been sounding boards for each other like forever since we've been doing this. Like, we talk to each other every day of every game. And so we both understand the stress, the pressure, how you feel before the game, and so we have a special connection that few people understand. That's why it's like so satisfying to see what he's doing because of the bond that we have.
Bobby, I think all the coaches, not all of them, but a lot of the coaches who came before you, Rob Evans, Bill Frieder, Hertzman, that when they leave, they always say something to the effect of, this is a difficult job. This is a hard place to really elevate the program. Do you feel over the course of your time that, looking back, it has been harder than what you expected when you first came around?
I mean, you just think you can conquer the world, right? When you get here, it's like, I don't know, it took me 2 years at Buffalo to win a conference championship, so I was all right. I've won a lot of championships as a player. I was 18-2 in the NCAA tournament, and then I right away win a tournament for Buffalo, and I thought I might have, by now had a championship or, a deep run in the NCAA tournament. So, there's nothing here that has stopped me from doing that. We haven't done it yet, and you got to keep knocking on the door and give yourself chances. But nothing from a resource standpoint that I feel has inhibited me from doing anything.
Coach, what do you think of the story, of the Final Four? Those other 3 teams, San Diego State, FAU, Miami, obviously rooting for your brother, but if you had any advice for them, their first times there for some of those programs, what are some advice you have for them?
I hope they do better than me. The first time I went, I got beat by 30 by UNLV in the championship, so it's just, I think you got to embrace the experience and enjoy the experience and, soak it all in, and, don't hide out in a hotel or something, man. Just, walk around, feel the vibe, feel the energy, and use that to fuel you. It's going to be an unbelievable experience for those teams playing in front of 80,000 people, and there's nothing like it, and so it's an honor to get there. And I think just with the parity in college basketball and the impact of the portal, you're going to see more examples of this where, you're seeing some lower seeded teams get in there and sneak in, and it's harder to put together the dominant team that you could keep together for years and years, and be like that on, that team that's the heavy favorite because of all the change constantly, guys going to the NBA, players deciding to transfer for whatever reason. It's going to make it more unpredictable.
In terms of roster construction, is there a timeline you're trying to follow where the vast majority of what the roster is going to look like?
I would say that by the first week in May, that we would have mostly everything in place. That's my goal, and so we have 5 weeks to really get after it, and we're ready in the process of doing that. And things are gonna things are going to happen and quickly, and guys are going to start making decisions, and we're going to, we're being very active. There's almost not enough time in the day for me the last few days, and my staff as well, as much as we've been on the phones with a variety of situations.